Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for yet more dedicated legacy action. Since it's spooky Halloween time, I'm playing a spooky Halloween deck. So the deck we're playing today is Halloween Stompy. It's a bit of a throwback to sort of decks that were around, like 5, even 10 years ago, where you basically used accelerated mana from things like Dark Ritual, Chrome Moxes, Soul Lands, and just powered out enormous threats and tried to close the game in a handful of turns. Now, this is by no means the best mono black deck you can play at the moment. In fact, I don't think it's going to be that impressive, but we are playing a bunch of big, spooky fatties. So we have Rotting Regisaur, because who doesn't love dinosaurs, but it's also a zombie, which is spooky. We have this Phyrexian Praetor, which isn't necessarily the spookiest thing, but look at her. She's a freaky demon-looking lady. So that'll certainly do. We've got Desecration Demon, an oldie but a goodie. It's just a massive guy, and they can sacrifice creatures to stop you from being able to attack with it, but it will pump the guy. So when it eventually hits, it's going to be enormous. And it's a demon. Demons are pretty spooky. And then we have Bloodvile Purveyor, because vampires, they're like one of the most Halloween things you can do, right? So what this is a 5/6 for flying trample for 4 mana. Now, it does have a downside, like any good big fatty should do. And the downside for this one is that when your opponent casts a spell, they get a blood token. And then when this guy attacks, he gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each blood token the player controls. Now, what a blood token does is it's an artifact that says pay 1 and sack it, and you can discard a card from your hand, draw a card. So that's a reasonable thing, but considering what people are going to be doing with their mana in Legacy, if they're spending their mana trying to use blood tokens so that this thing doesn't hit them for so much, or they can filter through their deck, that's not going to be great. Like, every spell that they can cast in their Legacy deck is going to be better than using these blood tokens. Like, yeah, as the game goes on, maybe that's not going to become so great, but they haven't got a lot of time to answer this because it's going to get huge. Also, there's a nice little bit of synergy with Shouldered, because if they're using blood tokens, you have Shouldered in play as well, they're just going to be taking a bunch of damage. But basically, we're more or less expecting to ignore the downside of this card, and it might even pump it a little bit. So they might be forced to pitch cards from their hand into blood tokens just to stay alive. This guy is the least exciting of the fatties, but I think it's a fun one at least. Then we've got your classic mono black stuff here. So we've got 4 Dark Confidence, which is going to hit us a little bit, but we are hoping to kill our opponent way before that's a problem. We have Sudden Edicts, because this is just one of my favourite removal spells at the moment. And if we can clear some guys out of the way, Desecration Demon's going to be doing work as well. And then we have Hymn to Turak and Thoughtseize. So the idea here is we pick apart our opponent's hand, place a giant fatty in play, and then beat them down over the course of 3 turns. That's pretty much it. It's a pretty straightforward deck, but we get to play some spooky fatties, so that's what we're going for today. Sideboard wise, for graveyard decks we have Leyline. For combo decks we have these Trinispheres, which you can cast on turn 1 with all of our Soul Lands, Chrome Moxes and Dark Rituals. Plague Engineers for decks with lots of creatures, and Eliminate for if we just need to kill more creatures. Not very exciting, but this deck is just about stomping hard, like the good old-fashioned days. Like when I first started playing Legacy and like Lore and Block, Stompy decks are all the rage. People were just playing like C Stompy with these sort of like 3 mana, 4 power guys, which, feels pretty bad compared to what you can do these days. But it was good old-fashioned battlecruiser magic, and we're going to try and live that dream a little bit today. And, I've worked on some other spooky lists that haven't quite got there. This was one of the easy ones to round out and just slam into a league with. So here we are. So just before we jump into a league, if you want to subscribe to my channel, it won't cost you a penny and it really helps me out. All right, let's jump into a league and kill some people with Bloodvile Purveyor. Okay, our opponent is on the play. So our hand goes turn 1 Thoughtseize maybe, turn 2 potentially Desecration Demon, or we can go turn 1 Rotting Regisaur, turn 2 Desecration Demon, if that's something we want. So we've got options here. I think we'll keep. We probably lead out with a Thoughtseize, but we'll see how the game develops. Okay, so our opponent's playing Doomsday. So this is going to be an unfair deck that we have to disrupt and then try and kill very quickly. So I think we play out the Thoughtseize now. and see what we can do. Okay, so our opponent has Dark Ritual, other Thoughtseize of their own. If we take Dark Ritual, that's going to really slow down their ability to do anything. And they can Thoughtseize us, but they'll just take a redundant threat. So they're going to have Doomsday on top of their library, as we saw from the personal tutor. So I think we take the Dark Ritual here and make them need another land before they can Doomsday. They're going to see our hand with the Thoughtseize, most likely. And they're going to be surprised. There's the Thoughtseize. Sure. So they'll probably take the Regisaur here. But if we draw a black card, we can still cast Desecration Demon. If we don't draw a black card, we can't cast Desecration Demon. So I think it's the correct pick to just take the Regisaur here. Yep, there he is. So it'd be nice to draw a black card here. Bloodveil Purveyor. Do we want to give our opponent things that let them go through their deck quicker? Is the question. An interesting choice. Let's cast this. If our opponent hasn't drawn a blue card, that would be good for us. I think we put the demon into play here. So they can't have drawn a blue card anyway, because we knew what they were drawing, because it was the Doomsday. So this should just come into play. You should ignore me because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. That's why we're playing a Stompy deck. Pretty much. Alright. So our opponent needs a mana source to cast Doomsday. Consider. So if our Desecration Demon connects once, it'll put them to 12, which means they can't do a Doomsday pass pile, which will be pretty good for us. So put a Misty Rainforest into a graveyard with their Consider. Okay, so we go to attacks. We attack with our Enormous Lad. Bash. And then we get to play another Enormous Lad. This one isn't quite as enormous, but it has a lot of important text that means that they probably can't combo with a Shoulder in play at this point. Not every day you get to beat people up with Desecration Demon, Shouldered, and Bloodveil Purveyor. But our opponent is cracking something, so they might have something going on here. This could be like a Brainstorm to try and find a blue... Well, if they have a Brainstorm, you just use it on the Forcible, right? Okay, they're just sacrificing to draw a card now, because they basically need... Okay, so they're doing that to try and find a blue card, sure. So if our opponent makes a Doomsday pile and passes the turn, they lose the game. Go to attacks. Could have cast a second demon here. I'm just passing through to smash through the game quickly. There we go. Okay, game 1. Desecration Demon for the win. So our opponent, we don't know if they're playing Shouldered, but what we do know is that Trinisphere is going to be good against them on the play. Is it going to be good against them on the draw? That is a real question. These Sudden Edicts probably don't do anything here. So I guess we can just board them in anyway, the Trinispheres. Sudden Edicts are black cards, and if they have duped into the Shouldered plan, the Sudden Edicts will be good. So I think maybe on the draw we have 1 Sudden Edict, 3 Trinisphere, and then on the play we have the 4 Trinisphere. I think this is fine. Our plan is not clever, but it is big. Big, massive lads. Our hand lets us put a fatty into play on turn 1, so we keep it. We probably put the Shouldered into play because if they're sculpting, the Shouldered will cause them a lot more trouble. Blue. Okay, is this personal tutor? A Ponder. Okay. Now our Shouldered might not resolve because our opponent will have blue spells in their deck. And they could also use like a Force of Negation on the Dark Ritual or something. Okay, so I think the best play here is actually to Thoughtseize this turn, and then next turn we Dark Ritual out one of our threats. Okay, this Abrupt Decay isn't going to do anything. 2 Dark Rituals is quite a lot. Consider is pretty good. They shuffled off their Ponder, so I think the best thing we can do here is hit the Brainstorm and slow down their development. So keep these popped out. Consider. Sure. So they really need to hit a second mana source here. They put the Misty Rainforest in the graveyard, which is interesting to me. I guess they just want to make a big pile because they can just use their Dark Rituals. So what can we actually do here? So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can't quite do enough to get all of our fatties in play at once. I do think we cast this one first. And then next time we can play Desecration Demon. And just bat people with some massive yachts. Oh, this is going to be pretty painful for them. Not sure they can even beat this Sheoldred at this point. If they're having to brainstorm just to look for land, I think we're in good shape. Okay, our opponent's finally moved and finished resolving their brainstorm and taking a bunch of damage from Sheoldred. So they have a Lotus Petal. It's going to be very hard for them to get through their pile with a Sheoldred in place. They probably have to deal with it. Okay, so there's one of the Dark Rituals we know about. A Doomsday. I suspect the Abrupt Decay is not in their hand. This is going to put them to 5, so they have to either be able to deal with the Sheoldred immediately, or they can't have a past the turn pile. Okay, our opponent's finished their pile, they're just arranging it, so let's see what they did here. They were on the Sheoldred Duke, which is important for us to know. They're cycling on this for the Edge of Autumn. So they're going to 3. They have a Lotus Petal. And looks like they're dying to the Sheoldred triggers. Okay, they just wanted to go in style, I guess, and kill themselves. Alright, so we are 1-0 beating Doomsday with Desecration Demons. Excellent. Round 2. Okay, we're in round 2. Our opponent is a 60-card deck. We are on the play. This hand is a little bit awkward. We have Thoughtseize, but we need an additional black source to really get there. But we can play Dark Confidant on turn 2, which is a fine play, so it gives us a chance to draw a black source. So I'm going to keep this. Our opponent kept 7. Swamp, Thoughtseize, target our opponent. Let's see what they're working with. Okay, they're doing something a little spicy over there. Witherbloom Command. That will kill my Dark Confidant next turn, which isn't very nice. But they don't have the ability to cast the Ignoble Hierarch at the moment, so they can't cast a Lily Down the Veil. This has Trample, which is important. So I think we take the Witherbloom Command here and give them no turn 1. And we keep our Dark Confidant alive for another turn. Obviously, if we draw some black mana, we can start just taking apart their hand instead. There's a Swamp that we know about. We did not draw that, so we are on City of Traders, which is going to get wastelanded, I believe. Which is a little bit annoying. But we need to play out this guy. They could just play a Bitter Blossom here, which would actually be quite a good play in my opinion, but I suspect they're just going to hit our land. No, they did go for the Bitter Blossom. Alrighty then. What you got for me, Dark Confidant? So, what do we want to do this turn? We can play out one of our big fatties here. We probably play out the one with Trample, right? Because of Bitter Blossom. Yeah, I'm down with that. And then what we do after this is we just Hymn to Turak. And we're all good. The Wasteland was going to hit our City of Traders anyway, so we may as well bin it off ourselves. These fairy tokens can obviously stop the Dark Confidant attacking, but they're not going to do anything to the Purveyor. Abrupt Decay, targeting Dark Confidant. Sure. 4 cards in our opponent's hand. This would be a great turn to draw a Dark Ritual. That's not a Dark Ritual. I think we just Hymn to Turak our opponent. So we got rid of a Wasteland there. And another Abrupt Decay. So we know both the cards in their hand. So a black source is going to be a bit awkward for us if they draw one. So we're kind of hoping our opponent doesn't hit a black source this turn. I think we're okay. God, why did I say anything? Sure. So we need to draw a mana source this turn and play Shouldered. I guess we have to sacrifice our only creature. Mana source? We did not draw a mana source. What do we do with this now? We can take the one card out of their hand if we want to, but we know it's an ignoble hierarch, which I'm not really sure we care about. I think we just have to pass the turn. The Plague Engineers in the sideboard are looking pretty good in this. I'm seeing 0/1s, I'm seeing 1/1s. This is not a bad spot for it. Okay, so Ignoble Hierarch was already gone out of the hand actually, wasn't it, earlier? What am I talking about? Him to Turak. Sure, anything but the Shouldered. I took the Shouldered and the Mox, sure. Okay. Didn't quite work out for us there. If we'd have had the mana and played the Shouldered, I think we'd have been fine. But now we're in living off the top. An Urborg. It kind of helps our opponent out, and they have a Wasteland in play. So I don't think we can realistically play this one out. Our opponent does have a clock that's going to kill us here, though. I think we get rid of him to Turak here, since we're not going to be making them discard cards and they have Liliana in play. This is now able to edict whatever creature we play, which is a bit problematic for us. But that's what the sideboard is for. So we take 4 next turn. We play this out, it's going to get wastelanded. So I think we are just dead here. The window has closed. We're not winning with Sudden Edict. I think we win by getting the Shoulder into play and then maybe following up with another threat. Okay. Now this doesn't kill them, but it does make them take a little bit of damage. This puts the 5, but we're going to go to, what, 1 this turn? Which is pretty bad. So they don't waste us and we play another Shouldered. That's still not enough. I don't know what we can have here. I think we are just dead. But we may as well see a little bit more of their deck to see what they're working with here. Sylvan Library. Maybe we'll get more information if they play another card next turn. They don't have to, but... okay, I think we concede the game at this point. I don't think they're going to play another card. Alright, sideboarding. Plague Engineers, you say? These guys seem pretty good. Eliminates kill Liliana. And they are going to be better, I reckon, than these Sudden Edicts. That's the impression I am getting here. Now, our opponent is probably packing Shoulders in their deck as well, right? That seems like a reasonable expectation to have. What are the ones we're trimming here? This one has Trample, which I'm a big fan of. I think Desecration Demon looks pretty bad in the face of Bitter Blossom. The Thought Seizes are okay. They certainly get worse as the game goes on. Like, the hymns are fine still, but I think we probably keep in the Edict in case they do have that. And board this like this. Got 60, so we just play out the big things and try and hymn them. We make a turn 1 dinosaur. It can be Abrupt Decay, is the only issue here. We have a dinosaur. Now, depending on what our opponent plays, can let us judge what sort of thing we're pitching here. Ignoble Hierarch, sure. I think we are pitching the Chrome Mox here. A Dark Ritual, that's not something we need. The sudden edict is always going to hit the ignoble hierarch. We may as well do it now and stop them getting another turn of extra mana. Bashing away. 2 more combat steps. Now they can have Abrupt Decay to kill our Rotting Regisaur, which would be pretty bad for us. Witherbloom command. We'll just do target player mills 3 cards, return land, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay. Doesn't impact the size of my clock here. I think this turn we just get rid of the ritual here and we just remove whatever gets in the way of the Regisaur. We go to attacks. I think we play this out in case we draw the Shouldered next turn, or any other of our big fatties. So our opponent has to kill our Regisaur this turn if possible. Tarmogoyf, that does not do it. Goodbye, Tarmogoyf. Get back to 5 years ago when you were good. Alright, so that went quite well for us. I think we just run it back again, make some fatties. They seem to have more creatures than I thought they would actually, so maybe we do want this other Sudden Edict in. What would we have it in for? Is the question. I think just having the eliminate here is fine though. We'll go for this. This hand has no acceleration. I think we have to mulligan this. This hand does some stuff. I think we keep this one. And we ship back the city. Our opponent is essentially just playing like the rock deck from many years ago. What have you got for us? Shouldered. Like I can make a turn 1 Shouldered. But that's going to require both of my Dark Rituals, which I don't think I want to do. I think we would rather just Dark Ritual out for him to Turak this turn. And then next turn, make it Shouldered. Okay, so we got rid of some decent enough stuff there. And the next turn we can cast a Shouldered. And if we draw a Black Source after that, we can cast a Blood Vial and just keep attacking with big lads. Opponent's got a Tarmogoyf. That is a 5/6, so it's a pretty reasonable size. But I have the ability to make some bigger creatures, as it turns out. If we play the Swamp this turn, we don't take any damage off of the Ancient Tomb. Just cast this. Cast this. So if the Tarmogoyf wants to attack, the Shoulder will clock more because I'm draining 2 each turn cycle. This is a little bit awkward for us, but we get to play a Blood Vial Purveyor. This is going to hit us pretty hard this turn though. So this is the choice. Do we want the Blood Vial Purveyor here or do we want the Shouldered? This is hard because we're going to lose the other one to the uptick of the Liliana. Now the Shouldered gives us life back. So I think we probably want the Shouldered here. Could be wrong though. Maybe the Blood Vial was better here because it can just guarantee the death of Liliana. They got follow-up. They got their own Shouldered. They do. Okay. So these negate each other. So I can either trade with this or not here. I think we just take it. What do we want to draw here? Plague Engineer. So these cancel each other out. Play this out and what's a name here? I've got no cards in hand. I guess we name Insect in case I have a Grist. So if I attack, they can trade, this can kill this, and then the Tarmogoyf comes through and finishes it off. Pretty much. So we have to just sit back for a little bit longer, I'm afraid. Both of these creatures have Death Touch, so... Okay, so they're going to wasteland us as well. So I have to block the Shouldered here. Because if I block this, I take 4, and then I take 2, And the way the trigger's stacked means I'll die first. So we have to trade shoulders off with Death Touch here. And go to 1. So our Ancient Tomb ain't doing anything. Our opponent was also playing Magic from a long time ago. Okay, so we had the thing we wanted here. We're going to be in top deck wars a little bit. But I think we can maybe draw something and get out of here. The Ancient Tomb being dead is not helpful here, though. Okay, our opponent drew nothing. My turn. I've got a lot of bad draws in my deck. That's one of them. We play this out in case we draw an Urborg, or if our opponent has an Urborg. I assume they won't play if they have one, but... Okay, so they bricked on draws. What about us? A basic swamp. This is good. This means we can cast a Rotting Regisaur if we draw one. We still have Dark Confidence in our deck, which we don't want to cast. Bitter Blossom. Okay. That will kill us. Oh. So near yet so far. What do we have to do here? So if we draw a Mana Source next turn, we play this. They take 2, then they kill us. So that's not going to work. We need to draw a Plague Engineer. We do have 3 in our deck still. Okay, we're just dead here. Alright. I lost the game of Magic from 10 years ago, just playing big haymakers. Fair enough. Their haymakers cost 2 and mine cost 4, I guess. Alright, let's go on to the next round. We are on the play. Our opponent is a Yorion deck. This hand casts turn 2 Hymn to Turak, turn 3 Sheoldred. Is that good enough to keep? I think probably, which is like a lot of our draws are pretty good here. Keeping a 5-lander though, that feels pretty bad. Maybe we should mulligan. Let's mulligan. Okay, so we cast a turn 2 Rotting Regisaur into a turn 3 Fatty of some description. Now our opponent could be a white deck with lots of easy removal for our big fatties and Caracas for our Sheoldred. Or they could be some sort of Ether Vial type deck, a Snow-Covered Plains, Mother of Runes, okay. So they're going to be able to remove our stuff, so maybe the other hand would have been better just to mess with that hand. So this turn we can cast a Thoughtseize instead and pave the way for our big fatty. I think I actually prefer that. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, so it's Ether Vial. So what does this do? Each player can't cast non-creature spells. Okay, so we're not really casting non-creature spells, that's fine. Recruit of the Guard is something that's going to find them stuff. Ponder, Brainstorm, these are all pretty good cards here. Like, I think it's either the Ponder or the Recruiter of the Guard here. I think the Recruiter of the Guard is probably the scariest thing because it just finds the thing they want, whereas these dig them towards the thing they want. This does cost 3 though. Although if I'm worried about them having removal, this can go and get Solitude though. They can use Lavinia to pitch. I think we do take the Recruiter here. Like, it's pretty medium minus there, but this looks like Espeval to me. Oh my god, we forgot to play our land last turn. What am I doing? I tanked so long in that Thoughtseize and I only just realised I've got to play my land. Yikes, what am I doing? I'm so sorry. Okay, so now we could have had one of these guys in play, and now so we could have had Sheoldred in play that turn instead, and then our Sea of Traitors wouldn't have to die. This is pretty awful. Yikes. Okay, next time we're going to pitch a Bloodveil Purveyor, play a Sheoldred, and hope that our fatties are good enough to kill them while they're looking for things. Okay, so they played a Flood Strand, they're playing the Brainstorm out. So these cards could be any sort of description in their hand right now. Yeah, so Sheoldred would have been way better than Rotting Regisaur because this doesn't have Trample, so all that's going to happen is the Mother of Runes is going to fog it every turn. It's only when I double it up with another creature that's going to do anything. Okay, our opponent finished resolving their Brainstorm. They have a fetch land to go with it, which is nice for them. And there's the Ponder. get the shoulder down. Makes all of their filter effects worse. Let's keep them honest. Sure. Yeah, so we could have still had our City of Traitors, had this shouldered in play and a Blood Vial Purveyor instead. That would have been way better. Days Undoing is not a spell they can cast. This Ponder's going to bash them for 2 life though. They did not shuffle with Ponder, which means they probably found a removal spell for our shouldered here. I think we probably get rid of the Blood Veil Purveyor here. Although if we hit a Soul Land or a Dark Ritual, we can get this into play. So maybe we just burn the swamp here. Let's play the high line here. Him to Turak. That's fine. Let's see what they got. If they've got any tricks, they have to cast them now. Which means I'm less likely to get blown out in combat by something random getting flashed in and doing stuff. Force of Negation. Okay. This means our guys get to rumble. So presumably they're going to take 4 this turn. They might just put the Lavinia under the bus as well. They're not going to. Okay. They take 4, they take another 2. I'm surprised they didn't shuffle with that Ponder they had. If they didn't have a removal spell for this immediately. Unless they're like Cephalid Breakfast and they're about to just kill us. Another Ponder. That's not the one. That puts them to 4. There we go, 4 life. Caracas. Okay, so they found a way of bouncing our Sheoldred. But we can replay it and dome them for 2, potentially. But we would need to hit the right land to do that. So then we go to attacks. This is going to get bounced. Yeah, so our misplay of accidentally passing without playing our land is definitely costing us this game. I think they would be dead by now. So this Caracas is going to bounce our Sheoldred. So we can redeploy the Sheoldred. They can bounce it in their upkeep. Or we can keep hold of the Dark Ritual and try and power out a different threat. I think that's what we have to do here. I don't think we can redeploy this Sheoldred. Opposition Agent. Sure, that doesn't impact what we're doing. Sorry, Sheoldred. Desecration Demon, though. This is not a legend, so let's play this guy out. It's a big guy. I think we have to keep this guy back on blocks at this point. A Solitude. Okay, that's pretty bad for us. They can just give one of their guys protection from black and just get the bits in. But then it means something has to go under the bus of the Regisaur. Okay. Recruit River Guards. So they can also use Lavinia Caracas to just keep blocking and bouncing. So they should be forcing damage through with the Mother of Runes here. Well, especially while I'm Hellbent. So we're going to get Apparitioned out here. Yep. All stemming back from my stupid misplay. I thought on the Thoughtseize for too long and then forgot that it was my turn 2 Thoughtseize and not turn 1. Yikes. Okay, so I got Yorion in hand as well. So they're going to be looking for a lot more stuff. What a card I can't cast here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we just concede. Yep. I deserve to win that one. My deck deserved to win that one. My play didn't deserve to win that one. So we've got removal and we've got Plague Engineers. I don't actually like Thoughtseize in this matchup particularly. I think we just want cards that play the board and stuff. I don't think having Legends is great against the old Caracas deck. So we can probably board down on a couple of those at least. Do you want to get rid of the third one? We are bringing in these, which are still threats, so I think this is probably fine like this. We've still got one Sheoldred, but generally Caracas is just going to deal with this, and we don't have a way of shutting off Caracas. So this might be okay. Maybe it should even be a Thoughtseize. I don't really like the Thoughtseize very much. But if they don't have a Caracas, the Sheoldred is pretty good. They don't have a way of tutoring for it, so maybe having one will be okay. I might regret that and want it to be a Thoughtseize. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's just get rid of our legends because of Caracas. This is the turn 1 Dark Confidence with a removal spell. Is that good? Like, we have all these lands we don't want. I think we can mulligan and get a 6-card hand that's just as good as this. Like, it can be the same hand with just like one less of these, and it's the same hand basically. So mulligan. So what do we do here? I think we keep this. We get to him to Turak on turn 1 and on turn 2, and then we can keep an eliminate to pick up the pieces. I think that's fine. Or we can put the eliminate under the him to Turak. That's also under the Chrome Mox actually. That's probably fine. Yeah, we'll do that. But we might just get lucky, hit their lands, and the game won't happen, and we'll just win. Like, this will be a 2-for-1 either way, because if they cast... Oh, okay, they didn't have a Foster Block. Brainstorm Island is pretty good things to hit in your opponent's hand. Hopefully they don't have some sort of horror way of interrupting with our Chrome Mox. Aetherfile. This Aetherfile is not going to do a lot when they have no creatures, no cards in hand. It does mean I can't hit him to turret them off of lands, though. Well, I can, but it's not going to be as effective with an Aetherfile in play. Cabinet of Souls, Charming Prince. That hand looked pretty bad. I guess they had the Brainstorm they were relying on, but... This is our game to lose now, I think. We just need a mana source, and we can start playing Rotting Registers. Ponder's a good one, though. Okay, let's shuffle that. Guess we cast this. Let's make a big guy. Let's hope it's big enough. Our opponent's Aetherfile is rather irritating, but... Okay, so... That's pretty annoying. We do have a load of removal spells we can draw for the Mother of Runes, though. Some proactive, like the Sudden Edict and the Plague Engineer. Plague Engineers would be very nice on this board. It'll blank a lot of things they can violin. We're not casting it, that's for sure. Let's kill this Mother of Runes. And then attack with a dinosaur. 3-turn clock, let's go. I got 2-drop as well. Meddling Mage. What are they going to name here? Sudden Edict. Sure. So the Aetherfile's on 3. I got 2-drop here. Him to Turak. Because it's getting discarded to the Rotting Register anyway, so we may as well hit the thing before combat. You can take damage from a dinosaur, or you're going to block with a Meddling Mage. Okay, so all my eliminates will kill them if I draw them. Provided they haven't drawn something great here. Another Meddling Mage. Okay, so this is probably going to name Eliminate because they've seen the Eliminate under my Chrome Mox. So they've got 2 chump blockers here. Doughty Voidwalker, a card that's not even in my deck. I'm not playing the good mono black deck. I'm playing this mono black deck. One of these is going under the bus anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. The Sudden Edict is the one they put under the bus. Interesting. Okay, so we can cast any card in our deck that we draw. Obviously, some of them are things like Dark Ritual and lands and hymns. So they're not really what we want. Okay, so the Meddling Mage dies this turn to my dinosaur. Under the bust you go. Put out the land because we're going to discard it anyway next turn. You got 1 draw step to deal with my dinosaur or make a blocker to buy another draw step. What have you got? Okay, cool. Big stupid dinosaur was big and stupid. Nice. I'm pretty happy with the way I boarded here. I've got my acceleration, I've got a little bit to pick apart their hand, and I've got loads of removal for their little guys. So yeah, let's just roll it back and go again. I can't cast any of my spells, this hand's got to go back. I only need 1 black source and I can cast a load of the cards. I can cast everything in my hand, but I can already cast Plague Engineer. So I think we'll keep this. And we bottom one of the purveyors, I think. So any black source. We're on the draw as well, so. Island Ponder, maybe? Nope. Desecration Demon. That was not one of our black sources. So next turn, we might Plague Engineer. We want to catch one thing with the Plague Engineer, ideally. We don't want a preemptive one, because this isn't like a combo deck we have to worry about being preemptive. Black sauce. Let's see if we get this one. I think we put the Purveyor in here. And then we him to Turak. It usually either makes them 2 for 1 with a Force of Will, Force of Negation, or they discard 2 cards. So it's kind of much of a muchness either way. Depends if they want to try and maintain the other cards in their hand. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's like the little fact or fiction man. Alright, they've gone pretty heavy on the value there. Timeless Dragon, sure. Eliminate will destroy the token, right? I think. I can't remember if the token's a copy or what, actually. We'll see. Baleful Strix. Okay, so we have something to kill with our Plague Engineer. But I think we just want to cast the demon next turn. Play the biggest guy we can play. Massive Yacht, please. So this has got Death Touch. They're probably thinking they're alright here. But they are not. Because we have 2 ways of killing the Baleful Strix. Human. Okay, they're just putting out the... Can we hit this? We can. Okay, so we'll do this. And then we'll cast the Plague Engineer. Or we can cast the other Eliminate. Depending on what we think's better here. Which doesn't have a converted mana cost on it, does it? A Force of Will. Interesting. This is a bird. No more bird. Let's go to attacks. What do you want to do about my big boy? Just going to chump it. Or are you just going to take the 6? Just going to take the 6. Sure. Yeah. Force of Will. Force of Will. Okay. Aether Vial is a long way. The game is probably going to be over before this Aether Vial does anything. Our opponent's got 1 card in hand though. So what we're really worried about is things like Swords to Plowshares, which we haven't seen in any of these games. So maybe they're just running just creatures and going all the value. Okay, they put Euro into hand. What you got for us? A Desecration Demon. So I think we just go to attacks and see what happens here. I think we just want to attack with the 1 demon here and not the Plague Engineer just yet. I want to make sure they can't play any birds. So we can play out the 2nd demon, but if they have a Supreme Verdict, which would be a very strange thing for an Aether Vial deck to have that's just all creatures, right? That would be a strange thing for our opponent to have. So this plays around singular removal spells, which I think is what's way more likely to be in our opponent's deck. So I think we should play around this. Play around them having like Solitude or something. Things that we've seen in their deck. And then next turn we just eliminate the blocker and then swing with 2 lethal threats. Our opponent's got 2 cards to try and handle what we're 3 cards, sorry, to try and handle what we're doing here. They've got the mana to hardcast a Solitude. That is not going to be enough. Cavern of Souls. Bird. Are they going to get beaten down by these demons? We can hope. A Rotting Regisaur. So we will try and remove this threat. Okay, cool. We are 2-1 with good old-fashioned mono-black proper Stompy with demons and things. None of this opposition agent nonsense. We just want dinosaurs and demons. All right, let's go on to the 4th round. This hand is pretty bad with Lucia Traders. I think we should mulligan it. This hand doesn't let me cast any spells. We have to mulligan it. This makes Thoughtseize into Desecration Demon on turn 1 and hopefully is good enough, maybe? No, is that right? 1, 2... No, it doesn't do all these things, but I think we... no, it does do this thing, actually. Yeah. Because we only have to put 2 back. So we put back this and this. And then we go Dark Ritual gives us 5 mana. Thoughtseize, Desecration Demon. This is where they show us 2 Swords Plowshares and we cry. The Goblin War Marshal is kind of annoying here, but we have to get rid of the Lackey, I think. That's what a proper turn 1 of Magic looks like, right? Just playing the guys, hoping for the best. Ether Vial? Yeah. 6. Those are bad lands as well. And we'll get a lot of creatures to deal with this Desecration Demon, which is a bit annoying. Because of the Mog War Marshal they can put in next turn. Oh, that's a very good draw there. Where's your 1-drop? A Skirk Prospector, sure. We have to take the War Marshal here. So the sort of deck that can have enough guys to put under the bus here and stop it from attacking. A Wasteland, sure. I don't have a lot of lands, so. One War Marshal's gone, that's an Incinerator we already saw. That's a Squeak we already saw. There's the Crater Maker. There's the War Chief. Getting the bits in there. They're going to start sacrificing guys to the demon yet? They are not. They're going to wait until it is lethal. Because they have a Wasteland, I don't really want to play out this City of Traitors yet. So they put Squee into play this turn, and Squee will give them enough guys to just keep tapping our thing down indefinitely here. Which is going to be awkward. Kind of hoping that we could draw a bit more action before then. Yeah, this is pretty strong. This is 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm dead next turn and they can tap our guy down. This is a bit of a problem for us. Him to Turak. And they can tap our guy down on blocks as well. Okay, we're just dead there. We did mull to 5. We were close. So Plague Engineers are very good here. Eliminates are pretty playable. So as you saw, the Desecration Demon had some real problems with how it operated in that. The Thoughtseize takes a Muxus out of hand, which I think is important here. The Sudden Edict is going to be less good here. I think we can trim those since we're bringing in different removal spells. And probably trim on a Shouldered. I think this is fine. What have you got for us? So I have nothing on turn 1, but turn 2 Rotting Regisaur, turn 3 Blood Vial Purveyor. Like, that's going to be pretty big. But if they just go turn 1 Lackey and kill us with the Muxus, then we die. There's not really much we can do about that one. Well, I guess we get the Regisaur out in front of it for a turn. It's not the end of the world. You can also chuck in a Dark Confident at some point in this hand as well. Okay, let's play out the dinosaur. Can we pitch the City of Traitors here because our curve tops out at 4. Ether Vial, that's not very exciting. So we can play Dark Confident and Shouldered here. 3, 4, 5. Yes, we do have to tap this. So we have 6 mana in our pool. So we cast this. And this should hopefully offset some of what the Dark Confident does. There's a little bit of a nombo with the Regisaur, but I can stack the triggers in whichever way I want. So it's not the worst. It depends if I want to keep the Blood Vial Purveyor. So this turn we will draw from the Dark Confident before we discard to the Rotting Regisaur. Not really sure how Goblins gets past this without some sort of crazy combo turn. But it's going to have to be a pretty impressive combo turn. Goblin Matron, what are you finding? Prospector. Then it allows them to do Muxus next turn if they have a land. Lackey. Sure. Okay, so we put this one on the stack first. Okay, Dark Confident. We will discard this Dark Confident. So the Matron has to go under the bus, otherwise they die here. And now we play a Blood Vial Purveyor. Black, black, tap this for black. Tap this for black, save myself some damage. And next time we stack the abilities the other way around. Like, I'm not sure how that Lackey's getting through. They have to kill a 5/6. And a 2/1. Yep, so there's the Lackey. I assume it's the Lackey. There we go. Yeah, so it's like we would have to somehow get through and have the ability to fully combo and kill me without a combat step. Because they're not going to be able to block a flyer in the air. But I guess they have to kill this as part of their plan anyway if they want to survive. A Goblin Matron. I don't think they want to be using the blood token when they have a shoulder in play either. What are you going to get them? It's got to be a 2-drop. A Munitions Expert. So they can deal 3 damage to my Dark Confidant. To Blood Veil Operative. Blood Vial Operative, sorry. They got Pyrokinesis here. Or Fury. Pyrokinesis. Sure. Okay, so they managed to get through those guys. They get to lackey something in this turn. Okay, that wasn't a very exciting card to lackey in. So they are dead in 2 turns from the shoulder anyway. So I think our best bet is to just hold back on blocks, because if we attack, they have to block both of these creatures, which does impact their total number. Is this until the end of your next turn? So these will get them cards. I think that's how we lose the game. So I think we just pass the turn here, because this, if we attack and they block, this gives them more cards to hit Muxus. And then they can attack with the lackey, put Muxus in. So they need to get enough creatures to kill our Shouldered here. So we could be down and out for the count here. But if we draw a Plague Engineer, we just sweep the whole board, which would be lovely. So this has to block here, because you can't let them get free mana. They do get 1 trigger of their master though. Skirk Prospector. That's not going to win them the game, I don't think. It could do. Stranger things have happened. Snow-covered mountain. Slingang Lieutenant. Okay. That gets them somewhere. This also gains them life, right? Yeah, this is a drain life effect. So that's going to be pretty useful for them. Hymn to Turak is quite a nice one here. Squee. So this is going to keep making them guys, and this is going to keep draining us out, and they can cast a Pashalik Mons and really go to town with us. I think they might have us here, you know. We need to draw a Plague Engineer at some point in this game, I think. That Pyrokinesis was pretty good. Yep. So they have to sacrifice some guys in the upkeep in order to survive. So they're going to have the mana this turn to cast a Muxus. So I think they can beat us this turn. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Okay, so there's a guy that gives their things haste. But they're still a little bit shy of getting the Muxus into play. They have to sacrifice something good in order to do that. Because none of these guys... they could cast a Slingang Lieutenant, but that doesn't net them mana. But they don't actually need to do that this turn, right? They can just play out some more guys and just leave me in the same position of needing to draw the... Yeah, so that's the play they're going for. But I don't think they're going to try and combo us off. They're just going to grind us out. But again, if we draw a Plague Engineer, we just win the game on the spot. Okay, so this has to die. They can bring this back from the graveyard, but it costs them some more mana and resources. A Snow-covered mountain. Be a lovely time to draw a Plague Engineer. A basic swamp, you say? Yeah, so we're in the same pattern, but this turn they definitely get to cast the Muxus. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're in some trouble here. We just need to hope our opponent passes through to their draw step. Okay, so going up to 3 so they don't die to the shoulder trigger from the draw. Sensible. A Goblin Lackey. Sacrificing it for mana. Sacrificing some more guys for mana. This second Lord means that Plague Engineer will no longer be a good draw. 5 mana. And get rid of the spare Slingang. Cast the Muxus. Twin shot sniper goes to face. Not the most impressive selection, but they do have double draw whenever they sack a thing now. So this War Marshal can make them some more mana and keep the chain going. Oh, another land. Another land. So they can cast another Lord if they want. Yep, so they're just going to be all hasty. Because Muxus is going to be very big when it attacks. I do have a Death Touch creature though. Okay, we're going to keep going. Munitions expert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't have a way of making black mana I can see. Not readily available. Another Lord though. Right, I think that means they've done the maths and they know that this will kill me. So we block the 2 biggest, we take 3, 6, 9, and then they can sack 2 to ping us off. Yeah, I think we're dead. Right. I did not draw my Plague Engineer, that was sad. Alright, let's go on to the final round here. So this hand is turn 1, Hymn to Turak, into turn 2, Rotting Regisaur. I think we can keep this. It could be turn 2, Desecration Demon, depending on what our opponent plays. And what we draw. Okay, it's got a Chrome Box now, and we're just going to cast this Hymn to Turak, targeting our opponent. We hit Pact of Negation and turn Timber. Okay. It looks like our opponent is playing Oops All Spells. They might still be able to kill us this turn. Thoughtseize. Have a look at my big dumb creatures. They're going to take the Regisaur because that's the clock. So I need a Soul Land to play our guy. There he is, right on time. Play our big fat lad. Boom. Who doesn't love a nice demon? 3-turn clock. Okay, our opponent clearly needs the mana from the turn Timber there. Play our land. Let's say go. Oh, I nearly yielded through my turn then. That would have been awkward. Play out this guy. Okay, this is the turn they have to kill us. They did not have the thing to kill us. So, winning game 1 against Oops All Spells, pretty nice. So we have Trinispheres, and we have Leylines of the Void. Both of these should be pretty good. We've got our discard effects. Our Sudden Edicts are going to be blank here, so they can go straight off. And then it's a case of which of these threats kills the slowest. I think we probably... Oh, they're all pretty fast. That's why they're in the deck, really. We could always just shave one of each of these and then bin off something else. I think the Blood Vial is probably less good because it lets them, if they cast spells, they can dig into their combo maybe. So maybe we'll cut these and keep the Shouldrids and the Desecration Demons in. So they're on the play, so we need to have our Leyline in the Void in our opening hand, otherwise we lose the game. Nope. Nope. No Leyline in the Void here. This has a Leyline in the Void and a Trinisphere. We keep this. 3 cards on the bottom. So we need to keep Leyline, Trinisphere, and Ancient Tomb, right? Leyline, Trinisphere, Ancient Tomb, Swamp. So we have to put back a Swamp, a Hymn, and a Shouldred. So done. Okay, knowing they have the Leyline is interesting. Okay, we have a follow-up after our Trinisphere next turn, if we get another turn, so that's good. Force of Vigor. Okay, it looks like they're just going to go this turn in Chaos. Because you don't blow that up that turn unless it's the turn you're going off, in my opinion. Because you might be able to catch something else with it. Undercity Informer. Okay, this still disrupts what they're doing. They can't cast their spells for free out of their graveyard. They can start beating down with a 2-3 though. Well, I can start beating down with a bigger creature. Next turn we pitch this Ancient Tomb to the Dinosaur. Then we play the Dark Confidant. Unless we get something better to play. Like another Dinosaur. We're not blocking here if they want to attack. but I don't think they want to attack this turn. They are attacking. Wowzers. No. Okay. Smart. So we would like to discard this Dark Ritual. So put Dark Confident on the bottom and Register on top. So Register discards the Dark Ritual. Then we draw a Chromox and a Leyline in the Void. We go to attacks. Send in the dinosaur. And then we can play out this Chromox, which means next turn we can cast Shoulders if we draw them. Or we can cast this Leyline next turn. If we draw... No, we can draw a Leyline if we draw it next turn. But I think we just want to be able to cast anything just to make sure that we can kill them in their upkeep here. If possible. Is the power of 3-ball going to get there? Elvish Spirit Guide. So I need another one. Elvish Spirit Guide. Yeah. Okay. This does it, right? Goblin Charbelcher. Okay. They've duked into a different plan there. So we want the Regisaur on top. What do you got for us? A basic swamp and a Thoughtseize. Attack with both our creatures because that's what has to happen. I get a 1. We play this out. We Thoughtseize them. Oh, I can't Thoughtseize them, can I? Because they've got the Leyline in play. So if they've got another Spirit Guide, then we die this turn. Or a land. We are on the play for game 3 if they do have either of those things. They did not have them. Okay, so we went 3 and 2. Let's have a quick look at the deck before I go to bed. Alright, so we went 3 and 2 with this pile of black stuff. Honestly, it felt pretty good. Like the Goblin matchup, I think if we draw the Plague Engineer at any point in those games, we just win them, to be honest. So I think this was pretty close to being a 4-1. You know, I don't think we're a million miles away from a 4-1 with this deck. We didn't really get to evaluate the threats very much. The Desecration Demon felt pretty bad against the goblins. If this was like Bloodveil Purveyor, that'd have been fine. There was also that game where I passed through my turn by accident and didn't get to play my second land, and I lost a game because of it. So yeah, I think this deck is fine. Like it's the tried old thing of take out the thing that answers that your opponent's doing, and then just play a very, very fast clock. And these are the best and fastest clocks I could find, and I'm pretty happy with them. They do have drawbacks on all of them. I like that the Bloodveil Purveyor and Shouldred work together as a team if you get them both, but generally you're not necessarily getting too many threats in play at once. Yeah, I think the sideboard was also fine. I think the Trinisphere was a very good shout for the combo matchups, and as you saw, it just won me a game on its own, so take that one nicely. Dark Confident, yeah, still good after all these years. It can take a lot of damage in this deck, but you are the aggressor. If it gets to the point where you're not the aggressor with this deck, then you've lost, because that's how Stompy decks work. So if Black Market Connections, again, I mention this every time I play Mono Black, if that card was in this format on Magic Online, it's not actually on Magic Online yet, but if it was, I think I would probably try and run it over the Dark Confident, because it can give you threats, it can give you mana to power out your things. It's just very, very flexible. Now, you can just lose a load of life with it, because it is 1, 2, or 3 life a turn, depending on your choices. But I think that would probably be better than Dark Confident most of the time. Now, the only issue is you can't Chromox swamp it out like you can with the Dark Confident. But you still have all of these, and we still have Dark Rituals and all these Soul Lands. So playing a 2 and a black spell is more or less the same as playing 1 and a black spell in this deck a lot of the time. Like I found that when I cast Dark Confident a few times, I was casting it off the Ancient Tomb anyway. So having Black Market Connection there would probably be better. It's 2 life a card for Black Market Connection, which is more than Dark Confidence sometimes gives you. But the flexibility of just being able to make threats with it or mana is great. Like, I haven't got much chance to test it because it's not on Magic Online yet. But when it comes online, I'm going to be playing a load of decks. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this spooky Halloween stompy deck. I tried to give you some monsters there. We had demons, we had vampires, and we had zombies. A dinosaur, I guess, and whatever shoulder it is supposed to be, some sort of terrifying horror. But yeah, so I think I did alright with the old Halloween attempt at a stompy deck there, and we got a 3-2 out of it, so you can't really argue. And I think I've got Monday will be Halloween, if I can do maths, which means I've got one more Halloween deck in me, so I'm going to have to try and think of a good one for that. So we'll see what we do for actual Halloween. Alright. Before I go, I'm just going to plug again and say, if you wouldn't mind, please subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers. It doesn't cost you a penny and it really helps me out. So if you could just go down and hit that subscribe button, that'd be wonderful. And it means you don't get to miss whatever random nonsense I'm playing in the future. All right, that's me for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.